Hey, Quants. Just going to do another quick review on some BTC and catch up on the strategy that was running over Sunday to Tuesday or Monday at midnight. So the market is looking very precarious right now. So let's just start off with the strategy so that we can switch back to the daily time frame and I don't have to keep changing time frames back. So this is the 1 hour strategy. We have our signal opening a trade on Sunday at 9 a.m. and then closing it at midnight on Monday or Tuesday. And so that trade is, well, to Monday night or Tuesday morning, however you want to look at that, just so that's clear. So this last one, it looks like it would have been a winner. And then I did mention something the other day. Sorry about the cracky voice there. I've been a little bit under the weather, nothing terrible, but just a little bit of a scratchy voice there. So I did mention something that might help this out, and I was playing with this. I don't really want to manipulate it a lot because I don't really think this is the best strategy, but as far as like just a very basic template is something to start with. It's an interesting idea and something here we can look at on YouTube quickly for everybody that just wants some quick information. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to change this signal so that the trade actually closes at 8 p.m. on Monday. And so this means that the signal will close 4 hours earlier than it would have otherwise. And so if we were looking at the P&L numbers, this went from like I think it was 223. I might be off on that a little bit. Obviously you have the video so you can go back and see, up to almost 300. It brought the drawdown down from like 50 or 55. Again, I don't remember the exact number there, but it did bring the drawdown down a little bit. This is obviously still a terrible drawdown, so not suggesting that this is something you should trade, but I just wanted to, this is a very simple thing to manipulate, and I just wanted to update that. And since this looks like it was better throughout history, I'm just going to, it will probably be more interesting to look at over time. So I'll just keep this value with this now. So that one played out again last time. I think the last week it had failed, and by making that adjustment, it's a slight winner. So obviously you can't go back in time and win money. That'd be awesome if you could, but unfortunately you can't. So as far as like optimizations and stuff, this is a minor optimization here that I'm just going to apply because I think it'll be more interesting to keep looking at it from that perspective or with that configuration. So switching back over to the daily time frame, I did mention that Bitcoin is looking pretty precarious. So looking at the master strategy here that I've been using to analyze the market with, we're back at 200s. Last time we dipped a little bit below. This time we're setting again on the 200 EMA support. So if we were creating a checklist, and this is something I will do now that I'm thinking about it, I probably for presentation purposes will create somewhat of a checklist. So we have a few things that we can track here with this master strategy. And so the first thing is that we want on the macro trend, we want to have the 200 EMA pointing up, which if we zoom in, it's kind of hidden by the color here. We can see that just turned down. So it's turning red. And if we, so that's bad. Bad in terms of going, the market turning down. If you want to short the market, then that would potentially be good. We have the 200 SMA still pointing up. The third thing that I would look for there is the 200 EMA being above the 200 SMA. And so we've seen that turned down recently. So another nail in the coffin there for things looking negative. And then the final thing, which is the indication on, or the indicator on here that is going to be the most responsive or react the fastest, because it's obviously not a 200 EMA, it's going to be the 8 and 21 EMA. Those, of course, will react a lot faster than a 200 EMA or SMA. And so the signal is when the signals cross over. So in this case, we had the 200 EMA cross below the 8 EMA cross below the 21 EMA, and that happened back here. So potentially that would have been a good time to get out, but obviously I generally don't use it for that short of time frames. Sometimes I do. Just depends on what I'm looking at here. But the main thing I like to use this for is for this kind of long-term trend. And so so obviously right now we're just kind of sitting here waiting on our hands, waiting to see what Bitcoin's going to do. If we start seeing some closes below here and we start to see this curve down, both of those start to turn red or they're purplish color for the 200s. That's going to obviously look really bad. We already have the cross here where the fast moving average is below the slow moving average. So again, that's already bad, and we already have the 21s down. So at that point, it might be time to just tap out. As I mentioned before, it's not impossible for these signals to just trend sideways because these are trending. This is a trend setup. You can get chopped up in sideways markets. So what I would say to that is when this is positive, it's awesome to be playing to the upside. When it's negative, it's awesome to be playing to the downside. But when you're in the middle range, it's very hard to play this and you're just going to chop yourself up. So right now we've been sitting in somewhat of a range. And so if I turn those back on, I added this one because I was just playing with some additional lines, but I've seen some people drawing some horizontal support here. This line here is pretty much invalidated, obviously. So we no longer really looking at this upward sloping channel. We're really looking at the downward sloping or the megaphone, either megaphone from this line here, which has, we had these violations here. I was just playing around with that. And then I said I would leave that in just to see how it plays out. We haven't got there yet. The other potential for the bottom line of a megaphone, which this is probably more correct, is either using the closes here, which would give you a more shallow megaphone support line, or the wicks. Right now I just have it drawn on the wicks. If we're going to come all the way down there, that's going to be down, unless it drops all in one day, pukes all up in one day, then the chances are we're going to see a few days before this actually happens. And so we could be somewhere around 100,000, back around 100,000 or just below 100,000. By that time, you're well below the 200s. So if you're following this strategy, it's probably time to start considering if you want to protect capital. Of course, it depends on when you enter the market. You might be happy to give up a few percentage here to have a final decision on how that's going to play out. And also, it is not uncommon to see the market just kind of, it's probably not the best tool for this, but see the market come down below here and then it'll come back up, tag the 200s, and then that's fine. If it gets rejected, then that's the end, and it just tracks down. So this would be the main thing that I would be looking for to kind of know for sure if the market's going to be done, to see if we tag that. But as it stands, still just kind of like filling out this megaphone channel here, and which isn't a pattern that I typically follow a lot, but looks like it might be playing out anyways. And so just kind of sitting on my hands here to see how it goes. The future things coming up, I've mentioned this multiple times and I still haven't done it yet, is the Solana phone. So I don't want to do a review of the Solana phone like I've done, or like you see some of the other YouTube creators doing, where they're going over the specs and stuff like that. I think what I'll do is I'll probably just, I have somewhat of a setup now where I'll be able to maybe play some games on it or something like that, just kind of let you see how it works. And then I do want to, and I mentioned I would do some more playing on the Sui Play device, which I'll do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the camera to record on the Solana phone to record the playing of the Sui Play device. It only records in 1080p, which should be fine. Of course, you won't get that 4K resolution, but I think for most people it might be 1080p will be enough, and that'll be something that you can actually see how the phone works. One, from actually a performance perspective, just playing some of the simple games and the apps that they have available through the D App Store for the Solana for the Seeker phone, and then also just see how the camera works while I'm using it to actually record a video with it. So let's see how the market plays out, and I hope everyone's staying safe out there. I think I've just stole that from Revan. So, and we will catch you next time. Peace, Quants.